Yo, what's up, Nick? So here it is, man. It's all done. So this is the Inheritance Creator Edition from a run that Nick is doing. This is his personal saber, and I just want to give you a shout out, man. Thank you for allowing me to install your personal saber. You know, it does mean a lot to me, and this was a very interesting install because it has a lot of very small challenges that I was able to overcome, but it's just very different from other installs that I've done for you for your work. But we have a brass button right here for power, just like you wanted, and you have a silver button here for aux, and there's a blade plug in there. So I recessed these a little deeper, that way we can get maximum blade depth. So we want to get to the set screw, which is right here. Back it out, and the blade plug falls out, so you have a very deep blade socket in there. Stock V4 in there, so it makes for a really good swinger, and this thin grip makes it very comfortable as well. It's very easy to hit the buttons, just very comfortable. But that, like I said, poses some challenges because it makes the ID smaller than I'm used to, but we're gonna get through that right now. So quick look at this, and we're gonna get to the chassis. So this is my version of a slide out chassis for Starfall. So here it is. We have a little bit of greebly work on this side. You did opt for an eco chassis, but I wanted to go a little bit more. I wouldn't say this is like a full resin greebly chassis, although this is a resin print. I just felt like it was just gonna show off way better with the paint job. This is like a very silverish chrome paint job. Just kind of wanted to match up the black and chrome going on with this, with the chassis itself. So I wanted to go a little bit above an eco, but maybe not so far into like a super detailed chassis, right? So you can check that out. There is a 7-trace PCB connector right here, and the male connector is in there. So this set screw right here, well, there's a set screw under here that holds the connector in place, and nobody ever needs to touch that, but just letting you know that's how it's in there. So this PCB and the buttons and the connector are all one piece, and they're held in place by the set screw that's right there. And it's in the perfect position so that when you drop the chassis in and you just screw the pommel on, it'll line it up perfectly, perfect depth. There's no need for a spacer that gets glued on here. I've seen some people do like a spacer that gets glued onto the pommel, but there's no need for that because I set it perfectly for the proper height, and the chassis comes out really easily. Just have to kind of give it a little shake, just a very little shake, and it just comes out. So I have the kill switch set right here in the bottom. That way, if you just want to power it on real quick, you don't have to pull it all the way out. You can just flip your kill switch right there. You have the Profi V3 right here, a little logo for me right there. Some greeblies going on right here. And I decided, you know, to go up just a little step further and go for a pixel strip here. So there's a 20 pixel strip hidden underneath here. It blends in very nicely. It's pretty hard to tell that it's there. And if we remove the battery real quick, you're gonna see you have Starfall Sabers embossed right there as well. So spring side is always the bottom, pops into place, and then we can twist on. See some animations right here. Since everything is contained in this core, I mean, this is essentially the lightsaber, right? And then this would be like the host. So when you drop the core in here, something a little different that I did. I don't normally do this. I don't think I've ever done this, to be honest, with a removable chassis, but I have this set up for chassis detect. So when we throw in the chassis, we put the pommel on, and that will push the chassis up into the pins, and you'll hear that beep, and that's a confirmation that everything is in place. And we can hit this for power. And aux, right? And then when the chassis is on, we take the pommel out. And you hear that sound, that's a disconnect sound. Just a little something extra that I wanted to do that I don't normally do for a removable chassis. So and that required me to use a 7-trace PCB connector instead of the typical 6. So this connector is a little bit wider. So it's got 7 traces on here. The other ones have 6. You do need that 7th trace to do the chassis detect feature and all that. So I wanted to do that little extra just to kind of show off, you know, the chassis, maybe make it feel more alive, you know. But yeah, man. So I guess another thing I wanted to mention is the speaker. So because this does have a smaller ID, I opted for a 22mm Vetco speaker. And believe me when I tell you that it is as loud as a 28mm speaker. And the reason for that is because I recessed it, and it's completely enclosed, and it's recessed about, I would say, 3mm in. And then when you throw it in here, the actual design of the pommel, which helps a lot in the sound, kind of has like a little divot right here, right? And then when you put the pommel on, you'll see on this side that you have like more resin, or just more space here, so that the sound can come out really, really nicely. So that really helps this smaller 22mm speaker sound way louder than you would think. So honestly, I put a 28mm speaker Saber and this one together, and this one is just as loud. Trust me when I tell you that, man. It really helps to have that extra room to make that sound just come out better. But it also helps to have an enclosed speaker like how I set up with the chassis. And it's just kind of like evidence to show that you really don't need a gigantic speaker, so long as you properly design a speaker enclosure that's fully enclosed with a very good hilt design, and it gives you the best sound out of a very small speaker. So I am very happy about that, to be honest, because I didn't expect it to sound as good as it did, but it did, so it's great. And I just want to show this off real quick before I put it in there, and then we just kind of play around with the blade. You know, I'm not going to go through like all the how to use and stuff like that, but that, as you can tell right there, if you don't screw the pommel in really fast, it's going to disconnect and reconnect, and you'll hear that sound. You'll hear it do a couple times, but that's normal, so no need to worry about that. So we're going to throw a blade in this just to, you know, show it off. Going to use a tool here, tighten it up. So you have gesture controls, you have the whole package, right? All 12 fonts on here. It's set up for a 36-inch blade, and yeah, man, just super fun. Very fun to do this one. Really interesting design here, and I was just having a lot of fun with designing a slide-out chassis. It's just something that I don't do that often. A lot of my stuff is very static, but I very much enjoy doing it on here, and I do hope you like it, man. And for anybody watching, hope you guys like it, and thanks so much, man. This will be going back to you. And yeah, this is the Inheritance Creator Edition, and there will be 4 more made by Nick, and this is his personal, okay? So thank you guys for watching. Catch you in the next one.